It's the most frequently diagnosed cancer in American men over the age of 50. That's why this month is dedicated to raising awareness of prostate cancer. Mike Urette was diagnosed in July of 2014. This last year has been like a roller coaster for him and his family. He's here today to share his story in hopes of inspiring others to get tested. And Mike is joined by his doctor, Dr. Pow-Sang. Thank you both so much for joining us this morning. Mike, let's start with you. Tell me, how did you discover that you had prostate cancer?
I had been watching my PSA score for many, many years. And eventually, last spring, it took a big spike and went from about a 4 or 5 level to about a 9 or 10 level. So it almost doubled.
Yeah.
And my doctor, Dr. Pow-Sang, determined that it was appropriate to do some further investigation, and that's how we found the cancer.
Yeah, and tell me about your treatments.
Well, I had 2 types of treatments. I had hormone replacement therapy, and then I had radiation therapy. Yeah. And the combination over about a 4 or 5 month period, it was very successful.
We're happy to hear that and happy that you're healthy. Dr. Pow-Sang, he mentioned his PSA levels. Is that something that's typically monitored through physicals? Is that something that men should be watching?
Well, it's a blood test, and it's very controversial, as there was a report a couple of years ago that probably it wasn't helpful in diagnosing prostate cancer. Nevertheless, if it's well used and is discussed with a man, whether there is a benefit or a risk about getting the test, it could be a useful test. Like any other test, is a tool. It's not perfect, but it's a tool.
Absolutely, and it's incredibly important to catch this earlier rather than later with any cancer. And is that one way to catch it earlier?
Yes, that's one of the ways to catch it earlier. Also looking at whether a man has a history of prostate cancer in the family, whether one is African American, that increases the risk. Now, it is important to understand that catching the cancer earlier might not be a good thing, because many cancers are very quiet and indolent. So it takes a lot of conversation with the patient to better understand it.
Yeah, and I was telling you guys both that my father also had prostate cancer, and thankfully he's healthy now. But Mike, tell me, what was the impact on your family over the past year as you went through this process?
The early stages of finding out about cancer and having cancer is a huge shock. And the impact on the family, frankly, was very positive. I mean, I had tremendous support. My wife was incredibly supportive. And our children were always interested, and to the extent they could be involved, but it's really a very personal thing, so it's not something that the family participates in, except my wife. She really did a fabulous job.
Absolutely. There's a lot of fear, and we were talking a little bit before about men not always wanting to discuss this, but it's incredibly important. What do you want people to know, especially this month of November where we're really raising awareness about men's health issues?
I think that the message that I would give is for men, number one, to be tested. I'm a firm believer in the PSA test, but then to talk to, as Dr. Pow-Sang said, to talk about it with the doctors and with other men that have had it. I found great support coming from other men that had had it up to 10 years prior, but those that had had it more recently were very helpful in reducing some of the unknown aspects of it and making me feel more comfortable with living with it.
Yeah, well, we are appreciative that you're okay and that you're doing well, that your family has you here this Thanksgiving. A lot to be thankful for. Thank you both for coming on and talking with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Well, to learn more about prostate cancer and see more stories from Moffitt's Community of Courage campaign, go to our website, WFLA.com. Well, the Clearwater Police Department is showing their support for men's health. They posed for this picture with their Movember mustaches. Hashtag Movember trended this month as more men use social media to spread awareness. We'll share your Movember mustache and support for people with prostate cancer on our Facebook page, WFLA News Channel 8. Well, are you looking for ways to get into the holiday spirit this weekend? Coming up after the break, where you can find a little winter wonderland in the heart of downtown Tampa. Plus,
10 a.m. Santa's coming to town.
Santa! Oh my God!
well, it's hard to believe Santa is indeed coming very soon. Coming up, how you can step up your lighting game with some ideas from the world record breaker. That's next.